Get 40% off your subscription to The Athletic for the best sports journalism online. Sergio Aguero has terrorised English football for nearly a decade. Over 9 years since arriving from Atletico Madrid in 2011, he's hoarded goals by the bagful, becoming Manchester City's record scorer in the process and currently placing 4th in the Premier League's all-time list. Now, in many ways, Aguero is unique. In a different, more abstract sense, however, he's a hybrid of all sorts of forwards from the past, both recent and distant, and equipped with a set of traits and strengths which the game has seen before, but which are unusually deadly in combination. Aguero has cited 5 main influences on his playing style. 5 players who captured his imagination when he was younger and who he tried to mimic: Carlos Tevez, Michael Owen, Javier Saviola, Juan Román Riquelme, and Ronaldo, the great Brazilian centre-forward. Now, Riquelme is an obvious positional outlier on that list. The languid, ludicrously gifted playmaker may bear little relation to the player Aguero would become, but he was a natural hero in Argentina, a country with an unending fascination for the number 10 position. Ronaldo was another transcendent player, an epoch-defining great. Among the forwards of Aguero's generation, it would be simpler to count those who didn't hang pictures of him on their bedroom walls. But the other 3 players had a clearer, more traceable impact. Chronologically, the first of those was Michael Owen, who enraptured the 10-year-old Aguero with his famous goal against Argentina at World Cup 1998. In an interview with Thierry Henry, recorded for Sky Sports, he recalled the impression Owen's emergence left on him. "I was a kid, and when I saw that goal, I couldn't believe my eyes. I told myself, if a small player like him is doing well in the Premier League, I could make it too." Now, in a post-Lionel Messi world in which smaller forwards are more common and more successful, it's easy to understate Owen's effect. But to a young Aguero, the idea that a shorter player could thrive in a notoriously physical environment would have been revelatory. And he evidently paid attention to what it was that allowed Owen to thrive too. One of Aguero's signatures has always been his ability to move away from his markers in tight, crowded penalty boxes and into unguarded positions to score in that trademark flashing blur. That was a hallmark of Owen's early goal scoring as well. How often was he quickest to a rebound, or completely free at the near or back post, or in any other lucrative position? And how many of Aguero's goals have relied on that very same ability? Their goal-scoring DNA is strikingly similar. And then there's overlap too, with a player born closer to home, another first-rate forward from Buenos Aires. By 1999, Javier Saviola had emerged as the great striking talent of his age at River Plate. Saviola would score freely over 2.5 seasons between 1999 and 2001, developing a semi-mythical reputation, becoming a digital hero on Championship Manager, and earning a move to Barcelona. Diminutive yet powerful, Saviola was a small, skillful forward at a time when, like Owen, the landscape was still largely dominated by forwards of more traditional shape. In those early years at River, though, Saviola showed the advantages of having a short stride and taking many touches, while also having the technique to shift the ball quickly in either direction. As a gate, it was more typical of a number 10, Pablo Aimar or Ariel Ortega, but in a centre forward the effect was devastating. The rapid movements would unbalance defenders, tilting their weight and allowing shooting angles to spring open from nowhere. Like almost every player, Aguero's influences are more diverse than even he realises. There are shades, for instance, of Kevin Keegan in his anticipatory movement, and also how he hangs in the air when competing for a header. For the range and consistency of his scoring, you might even draw a faint line to Abel Balbo, who enjoyed such success with Udinese and Roma in the 1990s. And Aguero's habit of shooting early, before goalkeepers are able to set their feet, is actually reminiscent of Romario, whose mind was always slightly too quick for the players that he faced. The clearest parallels, though, are with another Argentinian player and a player who helped convince Aguero to move to Manchester City in 2011, Carlos Tevez, who emerged at Boca Juniors in 2003 when Aguero was in his mid-teens and with whom he would later play alongside for the national team. Now, the two are of course very different personalities, but their playing styles are built on many of the same tenets. They are the same height, and while not quite of the same build, both players appear heavier than they actually are. Crucially though, both possess a low centre of gravity, are subsequently extremely difficult to knock off the ball, and snap their shots at goal with minimal backlift, great accuracy, and sometimes tremendous power. In Aguero, it's the quality which completes the circle. He has the awareness of the game to find space within it. The technical ability to create it by force if necessary, but then the capacity to capitalise within the fine margins that his abilities allow him to inhabit. The sum total is an extraordinarily efficient goalscorer. Perhaps that clinical quality has even cost Aguero in the past, and prevented him from having the cultural impact that he might have done. He's appreciated in England, but in a dispassionate, cold way which seems incongruous with the impact that he's had. And maybe the explanation for that is simple. It might be because his many constituent parts seem so familiar, and that he isn't necessarily an original as a centre forward, but rather the best parts borrowed and bettered from those who came before. Whatever the diagnosis, Sergio Aguero is goal-scoring royalty of a rich and diverse lineage. With dedicated journalists for every Premier League team, hours of podcasts specific to your club, and hundreds of writers covering 10 other sports, The Athletic is the best place for sports journalism online. And you can now get 40% off an annual subscription, that's just £3 a month, to join Tifo at The Athletic. Thank you for watching today's video.